What's up, Angelo? We are back with Polar Bears and Flip Flops. We were off for a week because Angelo was in California. How was California, buddy?
Uh, Weather-wise, it was sunny. It was great. I was at NC's, which is I think part of UCSB, University of California, Santa
Yep.
Barbara, and I was with the Kelp Forest Alliance, and um, we had a workshop on indigenous stewardship of kelp, and
Nice.
it was a four day long conference. Day one was just kind of get to know each other. We went to the kelp forest. Some of us got in the water. Have you ever been swimming with kelp?
I have never. It's something on my bucket list.
But you're Canadian. Have you ever been swimming in Canada?
Oh yeah, I've been diving on the East Coast. Never been diving on the West Coast. Again, bucket list, where you'd see kelp as well.
It's cold. It's so cold. I could have gotten a wetsuit, but I didn't. And
What?
I've been diving. No, so I didn't get in the water. I've been diving in kelp before, but it would we went snorkeling,
Right.
and on the day to get to know you, I just sat on the beach and ate some popcorn and talked to some
Okay.
of the other folks who also didn't go swimming.
Was it all because they didn't want to be cold?
Well, no, that's yeah. The people who didn't go swimming didn't want to get cold because it was cold.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's like May.
60s.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't get much warmer in the kelp forest. Like the kelp forest is cold.
Yeah.
But some of us just didn't feel like going swimming that day.
Well, it's got that Alaskan
Something.
current coming down, right, to California.
Yeah,
That's
it
why it
comes right
makes it
down.
so cold. Yeah.
Uh, there's a story that at the time I was surprised that nobody has been talking about it, but I actually heard the story on NPR yesterday. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there is this massive bird die-off happening in California and on the West Coast right now, like
I have
tens of
not heard
thousands
about it.
of birds. There was an NPR story. You should check it out. We can share the link. Where they were talking about it, but the Western Pacific warming pool that's associated with the really bad, and I apologize, I don't know if it's El Nino or El Nina. I think it's El Nino.
We're in a
But
super El
there's
Nino this
yeah,
year.
so like there's all this warm water out in the Pacific, and the fish, I guess, have gone deeper, and a lot of the young seabirds and the big seabirds, like I think if you're just at the beach, you'd call them seagulls, but they look like boobies to me. And also, what is the other the one with the long neck? The cormorant. There was like a species of cormorant,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
we saw been killed.
Wow. You saw them in the
Yeah,
kelp
frozen.
itself. Sorry, I think I'm trying to do
No, it
too
was
much
they were
here.
washed up on the beach. Okay, yeah. They are just like washed up on the beach, and like birds as big as like a cat. Like like these are like good sized seabirds,
Wow.
and hundreds of them just on the beach, just dead. Like horrifying. Like like was upset. I did have a great moment though. What is the most dolphins you've ever seen at one time in the wild? Have
Not
you ever
many.
seen a
Probably
dolphin
like
in the
a
wild?
yeah, probably like a dozen, maybe a little bit more than a
We
dozen.
we were standing on the cliff behind UCSB, and I couldn't count them all because they're at least a kilometer offshore, but it must have been 1,000 dolphins. Just the whole surface of the water, just going like this, and dolphins leaping and
Unreal.
going, and I feel like I've seen stuff like that on television, and I assumed it happened. Like there's like those like maybe like off the coast of Africa, maybe like there's some places where you get lots of dolphins. But
Right.
I did not know that off the coast of California you could see like dolphins all across the horizon. From the coast, like we were, Santa Barbara, we were 2 hours away from
Yeah.
Los Angeles, one of the biggest ports on the West Coast. But they're still that wild. That's California has such incredible wildlife. I mean, just like when you see the sea otters and the kelp, you see the seals and the sea lions. We just don't have that in the Chesapeake Bay here in Washington, D.C.
No,
So
and I'm
cool.
sure if you go off the coast of like somewhere like New York, maybe a little bit, you might be able to see some pretty cool things that are happening there. Apparently, that's what I've heard. I've heard there's a lot of whale activity, a lot of
Yeah,
porpoise
humpback
activity
whales have come
off.
back to New York.
Yeah, which is
Um,
fantastic, right? Menhaden have come back. Forage fish have come
yeah,
back. That hence why the humpbacks have come back. So
I'm
that's always great to hear.
I'm
But
hoping that.
I've seen like whale watching videos or off the California coast, like Santa Barbara area, where they're seeing like hundreds, if not thousands of dolphins. Like I don't know if they're
Oh,
spinner
okay.
dolphins or
Also,
what,
maybe so people
but
have
that's
seen it before.
phenomenal.
I just it was amazing to see. Really cool.
Yeah.
So it was a
And you
good
saw
trip.
that offshore? Like off from the shore?
Standing on a cliff above the beach.
That's crazy. That
Yeah.
is nuts
So
to see them coming that close. Yeah, yeah,
they're
but
far
not
away.
close. Still,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah. It was a good conference. We hope to uh, share some of the stories that we talked about. And we had kelp scientists from Namibia, South Africa, Chile,
Nice,
Australia. We didn't have anybody from New Zealand this time. Normally we do. Um, and then Canada, United States.
nice. And what was the overall like conversation around kelp? Like, what are the? I know we kind of know the major issues. We talked about them on the last time. You know how they're
Yeah.
decreasing in size and things like that. But what is like the restoration priorities or even protection priorities for that are coming out of that conference?
We initially started off, it was we were going to develop a tool to identify priority sites for restoration. But this was 2 years ago when we had our first gathering, and just in the conversations with the indigenous peoples who were invited to that, we kind of wanted to talk more about stewardship, which is kind of like just like a different thing than restoration.
Yeah,
Like they're definitely in the same ballpark. But then we ended up shifting the overall focus of this particular group of scientists to more about the human connections to kelp and looking beyond just sort of like the science and the biology, but to the importance of culture, the importance of economy, and we just learned from one another the different methods to work with communities, but also the scientific methods to not harvest, but to
yeah.
steward this kelp.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like you say harvest, there are a lot of people who are interested in using kelp
Yeah.
for making clothes and yarn and all these different types of materials. Was that brought up and is
Drinking
there
straws.
concern about that in terms of are they harvesting it from sea or are they harvesting it from their own sort of stock where they make them in like facilities?
We didn't really talk about it in terms of like a commercial scale harvest
Yeah,
of kelp in this particular group, but one of our colleagues from Washington State was talking about some of the cultural uses, which involves uh, harvesting it, but I like not on the scale of what they're doing up in Alaska or up in Maine, where they're farming it and harvesting it. But it's definitely a topic that's
nice.
important to communities around the country.
Nice, very nice. That's cool. So, how often do you guys get together every 2 years?
We're done. So that was like the third meeting of three,
Oh, okay.
and what we're trying to do is, we'll probably publish a paper out of it, sort of try to get like because it's a weird mix of not a weird, but it's some scientists, some practitioners, some community members. So those of us who are science minded are probably gonna take lead on a also interested in doing some more some writing on.
Sorry, I think I froze there, or you're freezing on me. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, we are frozen. Yeah, it's slowing up, slowing down.
Sorry,
I can hear you
I was.
fine,
You can hear me fine. Okay.
but yeah, the video looking at pictures. You're looking at pictures of cats,
I was looking up something
looking at cat
of
videos and all
the
that.
cat videos. Not quite, my friend. Not quite. I was looking something that I wanted to bring up on the thing, but we'll do that in a second. Hopefully, they won't slow down my browser too much, but or my connection too much. But so yeah, so yeah, you guys are excited about the kelp. I didn't hear all of what you said, but hopefully that gets across on the stream. So that's pretty cool. You do a lot of things for
Oh,
ocean
good.
conservation, and you do a lot of things for um uh I can't find it here. I'm looking for it as I'm trying to do it to surprise you, but you kind of know about this. But you do a lot for ocean conservation, and you do a lot for speaking up for Indigenous people in
Okay.
ocean conservation. And you were recently recognized, not the first time, but you were recognized for your efforts
I was
in the
very.
let's see here, in the Washington, the 500 most influential people shaping policy. And I'm just going to kind of show the, I'm not sure if this will show, but we'll see. I was trying to find your picture to kind of put it up, but it was ruining the stream, but that's okay. And you were in here. Let's just see if we can switch this over. Is it switching over? It's not switching over. Nothing's working today. Nope, that's not right. How come? Angel, can you hear me? There we go. I don't know what happened here. Something's messing up. Can you hear me, Angel? Oh, we lost him. We lost him. Everything's going wrong today. Nothing's going right.
Let's take the videos back on.
Yeah, video's back on. Everything looks okay. I thought I was going to be able to look at this. I was trying to switch something over. Here we go. There we
Oh,
go.
okay.
Okay.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, and I was looking for your picture on here as I scroll through. But you're on here. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think if you could cheat and like click on the environment section, it'll like advance it and possibly crash your computer.
There we go. Here we go.
Yep.
Angela
So
with the long
that's the
hair,
thing.
mind you,
And
too.
what I hey, look at that guy. I don't look like that guy anymore.
You don't look like that. No, you don't look like that guy anymore at all. You know, I don't know why, but you don't look like that guy. But you're looking more sophisticated, I guess. I don't even know if you call it sophisticated. Just look like you are ready for summer without the long hair. Would that be more of a safe way to say it?
Yeah. R- Ready for summer. It's a good way to say
Ready
it.
for summer. Right on. Cool. All right, I'm going to close this because I think this is causing us some trouble here. I'm also going
But yeah, so
to
ready for summer.
right on. I got something queued up which could
All
be
right.
slowing us down as well. Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to close down some more stuff so we can actually work on something here. All right, hopefully that'll help. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, so congratulations on that. I think
I'll
that's
do the
what
same.
2-3 years in a row.
Thanks, man. 3 years in a row, and what I get out was at the Four Seasons, not Four
Nice.
Seasons Total Landscaping, but the actual Four Seasons Hotel, and it was in their one of their ballrooms, and the wife was with me, and we grabbed a table that was right by the kitchen, so whenever the food
Nice.
came out, we were the first people there, and there's a trick: be nice to the wait staff.
Always.
Right? And so like
Always.
the wait staff will come by and we'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's your name? Oh, this is really good." And then David, the waiter, came by and gave us free food every time. In
Every
fact,
time there's
like
something new.
we got to know the staff so well that Oscar, the manager, came over to talk to my wife and we got to talking to Oscar. And my wife works in the hotel industry, and
Yes.
he says, "Oh, where do you work?" He's like, "I work at the Pendry Hotel." And he says, "Oh, do you know George?" And she's like, "George is my boss." And Oscar says, "Oh, George is my buddy." And so we had a couple of texts, and then for the rest of the night, uh, I actually drank. I don't normally drink, but
Oh.
I was at the Four Seasons, and
Yes.
Oscar, the manager, made sure that my glass of wine did not empty for the entire event. He took really
Okay.
good care of us.
There you go. There you go. Be nice to your
And
wait staff. They will
if
be nice to you.
if you're gonna hold an event, I highly recommend holding it at the Four Seasons. Really nice place.
I can imagine. Yeah, Four Seasons would be quite nice. Not the landscaping place. Not the Four
No,
Seasons
yeah, not total
landscaping.
landscaping, but like the
Not
actual
totally.
hotel Four Seasons.
Yes, yes, right on. Cool. Okay, we are going to a different subject right now that is not so fun. a little quite infuriating. I've got the video queued up here.
Okay,
This is a
great. Let's
video.
play
So
it.
this has this before we started. This story has sort of people have been following it because it's gone so viral. It started off in Hawaii. Guy involved is in Seattle. He's quite well off apparently. And this is the video comes from stemming from an article where they're trying to defend what the guy was doing. And so we'll
Okay.
just cue it up to what he was doing. And if, for those of you, just to kind of warn you, is this freely available on YouTube? It's with Hawaii News Now, but or courtesy of Hawaii News Now, but it's kind of it's borderline animal cruelty. It is animal cruelty. So if you don't want to watch, feel free not to watch. But we're just gonna slip over here. This is the lawyer of the guy apparently, and then I don't know if you can hear the voice, but we're gonna
something good by scaring it
kind of talk about what's happened here.
What are you?
I can
So
hear
that
it.
is that's a Hawaiian monk seal, critically endangered.
Yep.
And this guy threw what seems to be a massive rock at the thing. Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can hear it. It's stopped now.
When asked if he was
Yeah, I just stopped.
apologetic at all, Briner said,
Oh, absolutely. No, he's devastated at the notion that
Okay, we don't have to really see. I don't really care about his defense. It's pretty
Yeah.
seamless that right there. He threw a rock at the monk seal. These you've been to Hawaii a number of times. I've been to
Yeah.
Hawaii a couple of times. Hawaiian monk seals are not only protected, but they are part of they are in depth to the culture. When you actually, if you see, they like to come on the beach. They can come on any beach they want. Like I've been walking down Waikiki Beach and I've seen, one just lying out. They're usually
Oh, you did?
sectioned off. But yeah,
That's a pretty special thing. I've been to Hawaii dozens of times because it's on the way home and you stop, but also for work and during my career. And a couple years ago, I was with my wife and some colleagues, and we were driving along I guess it was the east side of the island, heading towards the North Shore. We're just driving, having a nice time, and my wife goes, "Oh, look, I just saw a seal." I was like, "What?" Seriously, like she said it so nonchalantly because we've been to California and we've
right.
seen the gray seals and the
Yeah.
harbor seals, and like they're just everywhere. And I was like, I've never seen one of these before. And so I stopped the car, we turned around, and we went back down the beach, and there was a single Hawaiian monk sail on the beach, and they have like monk defenders, like there are volunteers across
Yes.
across the island, and when one pops up, so they make a phone call and they set up ropes so that you don't
Yeah.
go like when it's on the beach, like you don't want to go near this thing.
Yeah.
And I took a bunch of pictures, and this is when I still had Twitter, and I posted on Twitter, and I actually had some of my Hawaiian conservation colleagues said, "Thank you for like showing that there's a proper way to interact with these monk seals, and that you can enjoy them from a distance, because it's like it's still like right there.
Yeah.
It's you don't need to go hug it or throw a rock at it."
No.
But yeah, we took pictures. We took pictures of it. We spent some time with it, and it was just chilling on the beach. Not a care in the world.
Not at
Wasn't
all.
doing anything.
And
So yeah,
Waikiki Beach is a pretty busy beach at times, and there were a lot
yeah,
of people that were
100%.
going. And I'll be honest, like they didn't have ropes necessarily, but they had pylons, and they had like a volunteer that was sitting there and giving
Okay.
information out. Nobody bothered it. I think one person, because it was close to shore, one person was jogging along the shoreline. I guess didn't see the pylons, kept going, and this what he thought originally he
Yeah.
said was a rock was the monk seal, and there was a bunch of people warning him saying, "Hey,
Okay.
be careful,
Yeah.
there's a monk seal sleeping." And they'll go all the way up the beach and then come all the way
Yeah.
back down. They might be there for hours, they might be there for an hour, less than an hour, and then they might go back. But yeah, we saw that. Actually, I've seen that a couple of times on Waikiki Beach, which again
Oh, that's
I was
cool.
kind of
That's special. Like
surprised.
that's a special thing. Like
Yeah.
you're this weird tourist who thinks it's normal to see a
Right.
monk seal on a right, like because you've seen it like more than once.
Yeah.
I've seen one my entire life. I'm from the Pacific Islands.
Right.
Um, and that's the sad thing about this guy is like he actually was having like a really special moment. Uh,
Yeah.
and boy did he fuck it up.
Big time. Like let's go back to that story, because that monk seal was probably just trying to get to the beach. I assume, they don't come in that close just to hang out. I assume it was just trying to probably haul out, which is just resting on the beach. This guy seems to walk around, follow it a little bit, and takes this rock, throws it, and almost hits it in the head.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like a pebble. That was a big chunk of rock
Yeah.
that we saw.
And he had people, and people were yelling at him the whole time.
The person with the camera was like, "What are you doing?" And his response, according to what he said on the camera, was, "I'm rich. I can pay the fines." Right. And this is, I think, speaks to, we can talk about it in just a sec, like, speaks to a bigger problem around animal cruelty, and just the looking at the environment in that way. But I mean, this monk seal, critically endangered, very protected under the Endangered Species Act. There are a lot of people, as you mentioned, there's a whole network of people who are there to make sure that it's protected. It's ingrained, and I don't know how much it's ingrained, but it's ingrained in the culture in the Hawaiian Islands and the Hawaiian people. And there were some people, like, that video went viral pretty quickly. People recognized the beach, and people decided to go talk to him. Some of the local community members decided to tell him, "Hey, you know what? Maybe that wasn't such a good idea." Yeah. The aloha welcome.
We're gonna give you a special aloha.
Yeah, and he didn't like it, I assume, but he deserved it, to be honest. Not that I condone violence, but he definitely got that welcome. What was really interesting is, I mean, the guy got arrested. He's actually got picked up in Seattle as well. I think they were originally just going to give him a fine.
I think he came back voluntarily. Like, he was charged.
Did he come back to Hawaii, or did he get arrested in Seattle?
No, he had to go back to Hawaii. But I think he surrendered. And we could look at the website and Google it and confirm that, or we could just make stuff up. But I'm pretty sure he voluntarily went back, and he's facing a big fine and maybe some jail time.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's as much.
He got a lawyer.
Yeah.
And the defense he's making is hilarious. He's saying that he was actually trying to protect the seal, and hey, try that defense, and the jury of your peers are going to be all Hawaiians, because this is taking place in Hawaii. So we'll see how that goes. I think most people can probably see through it.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, I mean, everybody sees through it. I hope he gets the maximum fines. I think the problem, though, in a lot of places, is the fines aren't big enough, and the consequences aren't enough. I think that's really what it, in my opinion, is really what it comes down to. The attitude that this guy had, his name is Igor Levinchuk, and the fact that he just turned around and was like, I'm rich, I'll pay the fines. It's this attitude that a lot of people have, where if I'm rich, I can do whatever the hell I want. And I think, I've been observing a lot of stuff that's been happening in the US in my lifetime. And, there's this battle between, like, blue and red, like, politically. There's a political battle between Republicans and Democrats. But I feel like the battle should really be between rich and not rich. And the rich have just been getting away with everything. This guy didn't get away with it. Maybe he's not rich enough, or maybe he's just, it just got too viral. Sometimes you just can't be protected. But it's just, this is what really pisses me off, Angelo, about how people view the environment. It's like, I can just pollute, or I can just maim a seal, or, in Vancouver, we had a gray whale which are dying. Gray whales are dying on the West Coast. They went from 27,000 a decade ago to 13,000 population. That's because of climate change. And then we have people, like, running around jet skis in the harbor and running over them by accident, but still running over them, knowing that there's a whale in the harbor. It's this audacity of people just not respecting the ocean. And it really, really bothers me. And I did watch a number of videos from Hawaiian people who were just like, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what their people have gone through, in terms of, people visiting, obviously it's a tourist spot, people visiting this has happened in Maui, but people visiting the islands, treating it like shit, raising the cost, making people homeless. You talk about colonialism. The people are tired, and so that you take a something like this guy who's just a dick, and he does this thing and just washes off like nothing could happen. Thank God he got sort of the local treatment, so that he hopefully he remembers that and he gets arrested. And by the way, that guy that gave him the local treatment did not get arrested. Nobody said his name, and he actually got
I think he won an
awarded.
award. Yeah, yeah, he got an award.
He got an award, and so like I'd love to get like I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. In terms of like something
Okay.
like this happening, and you get this response from local people, Native Hawaiians who are there, and who are just sick and tired of this crap. The people get treating their land like shit, and then they just all they're trying to do is survive and live their life in a culture that they want, and they keep having to go up against idiots like this. Like, what's the like? Take me into like the insight of like people feeling that way.
25 years ago, I was on a field study in Costa Rica, and we were talking to farmers in the mountains who are growing shade-grown coffee. And one of them said, "We are always dealing with people who are on vacation."
Mm-hmm.
And just think about what you're like when you're on vacation. Like you're letting loose, and maybe
Yeah.
you're doing some stuff that you wouldn't normally do. But people live in these places, and so that's the Hawaii version. And you get people. I think they get like 6 million visitors a year. So they have
Yeah.
6 million people, and they're all on vacation.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be told what to do. They don't have to make their beds while they're on vacation. They're just having a grand old time, and and they're not always behaving very well, and they're drunk, right? Because they're
Yeah.
on vacation. Uh, for my islands, we were getting a lot of Chinese tourists about a decade ago, and for whatever reason, the Chinese people at the time thought, well, when you go to Saipan, it's America, and what do you do in America? Well, you drive a Hummer and you shoot a gun.
Oh
So,
Jesus.
yeah.
Jesus.
So,
Oh my
so
God.
at one point, Saipan had more Hummers, but like pink Hummers and yellow Mustangs. So like these Chinese tourists would rent pink Hummers and yellow Mustangs and drive them on the beach, drive them into the water, drive them near sacred areas, drive them near religious memorials, and do all sorts of horrible things to get the Instagram picture. And I think maybe you're thinking of sort of like indigenous peoples and tourism and visitors and colonialism, but you're also seeing this in Europe, right? Where there's protests in Italy where they're like, "We've had enough. Stop sending all
Yeah.
the tourists. There's too many of you." Um, and yeah, I don't know. Like, tourists have always been bad. Mark Twain wrote a book like 150 years ago about tourists. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. The Mark Twain book on tourism. I can't. I read it, 20 years ago,
I'm
30
not too
years ago.
sure. Yeah.
Um, but he Innocents Abroad, Innocents
Okay.
Abroad. So like the idea, the middle class. Whenever somebody becomes middle class and they go on tour and they visit people that they're not used to seeing, they always are morons.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of education there and also of cultural awareness. And that is just something that comes with more experience. Like hopefully this guy learned his lesson, and hopefully like that's the silver lining, right? And hopefully, however much money the government was spending on outreach on what you're supposed to do when you see one of these monk seals, pales in comparison to the education that has happened due to this viral moment, right? Like everybody
Yeah.
saw this. So people, and this is going to be the story for a very long time in Hawaii, where they're going to be like, if you see a monk seal, you better be respectful. Um,
Yeah. But
yeah,
what do you
or we're
think?
going to
What
give
do
you
you
that.
think?
We're going to give you the aloha welcome.
What do you think is more persuasive? The being arrested by NOAA and their enforcement and having to potentially pay fines, or getting the local treatment?
I mean, those are both sticks, right? I actually think it's the carrot in the long run that's more helpful. It's the um, if you travel to places, you should learn about those places and become
Mm-hmm.
respectful. And just like like I travel a lot, and my experiences are enhanced not by getting shit faced and
Yeah.
doing whatever I want, but by like making friends there and learning
Yeah.
about their lives and
Yeah.
learning about these other places. And I feel like that's a type of tourism that is just like much more enriching for my soul. Um, and I think that is where you want to sort of like guide
Yeah.
the industry to, not the mass tourism of let's fill up a busload of people and who can't swim, give them a snorkel and dump them in the ocean and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that really comes down to like then it's a collaboration between the local agencies and some of the companies that are working there of like coming up with regulations and doing things like making sure that tour guides have licenses. Like there's all sorts of best practices, and that's not really my area of expertise, but I know people do think a lot about how to achieve sustainable tourism.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the best way of doing that. An interesting story that I had when I first visited Oahu, we didn't have kids. We were there with friends. We were on the north shore of the island. There was a beach called Sea Turtle Beach, and I was like, oh, are there sea
No,
turtles
no,
there?
sure.
On the North Shore, yeah. So we went there, and it's a beach basically where these green sea turtles eat red kelp or red algae. Sorry, they come around the way where they normally eat. They come up the beach and they sit and they suntan and they just relax on the beach. There's a organization called Hanu, which is my understanding is the Hawaiian word for sea turtle, and
Turtle.
they just kind of sit and they wait and they just watch and they take data like observational data and measurements, make sure the turtles are fine. And so when I first went there, I was like, this is really cool. I want to take part. Like I want to take data and all that kind of stuff. So I went up to them. I said, hey, I'm here for a week and a half. Can I volunteer one day? Just like a morning or afternoon, this and that. It was
Yeah.
kind of funny. They were like, well, you have to go through like a couple of weeks of training and this kind of stuff. I'm like, look, I'm a marine biologist. I've got a master's in marine biology. If that helps, I would just love to take part. And they were like, oh, okay. I called the person. They're like, yeah, you can take part. Do you want to do it tomorrow morning? I said, sure, no problem. So I sit there and I was with somebody too. And they were kind of taking me through the whole thing. And a lot of the volunteers were the spouses of the Navy, people who were in the Navy there. And so we were sitting there. We were like, these sea turtles come up on the beach. It's actually quite fascinating. And then we have this like red sort of tape, or red, not tape, but like string that we put across, a red rope that we put across and probably like 6 feet back, just to keep tourists back, to make sure that they understand, not to go there. And like the audacity of some of the people, man, like these turtles just sit there and they sleep. They don't do anything. You watch, you look at how cool they are, but they're not going to do a song and dance like in SeaWorld or Marineland. And so I actually caught a father of 2 little kids taking sand and throwing it on the sea turtles, like the sleeping sea turtle's head. And he did it once. I said, hey, you got to stop that. That's illegal. You can't do that. And he did it again. I started yelling at him. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, it's not doing anything. I'm like, it's sleeping. Like the whole purpose of them being here is to sleep, is to rest. I go, imagine I come to your bed, I throw sand on you while you try and sleep. Would you like that? No. I'm like, what are you teaching your kids? Like, honestly, like I'm a father. I would never teach my kids to harass. They're not there going to sing and dance for you. They're there to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
You
You
should.
can enjoy them, love them, do whatever you want, but do not touch them or harass them. That is actually illegal.
Yeah.
You know,
You should have given him the aloha welcome.
I should have given him the aloha. Well, I almost threw sand in his face. But I'm like, I didn't want to. I was with an organization that
Oh,
they
just
didn't know me,
one day on the job and you're ready to throw fisticuffs.
but it's so frustrating to watch people do what they do. But I have to admit, like on that same day, there was a turtle that came up along the beach where we were, just like probably about 150 yards down. It actually had a cracked shell on its back. And they knew exactly what, like the organization knew exactly what to do. They called NOAA, their rescue team. They came in, grabbed it, and they were like, we're just going to kind of put it back together, see what we can do. And apparently I checked on it, left about 6 months after that, and they put it back out. It healed up and they put it back out. So that organization was great. And you need organizations like that to sit there to make sure that these turtles don't go anywhere. But there's got to be a lot of places where these monk seals aren't seen. You know.
Let me ask you something though. Like, so that turtle probably cracked its shell from a tiger shark. Do you feel bad for that tiger shark for losing his turtle snack?
No, because the sea turtle made it to shore. So if he made it to shore,
Oh,
that
sorry,
that tiger shark
you're
already lost his meal.
okay.
Let's just say, hey, give it to that sea turtle. Maybe he fought him off.
Yeah,
Maybe he
maybe,
fought him
maybe.
off.
Yeah,
He's pretty resilient turtle to come out, maybe seeking some help. But they know these turtles so well because they keep coming back and they can recognize their scutes like along the
what the
neck.
hell they are? Yeah,
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like to see them come back time and time. They've got years of data,
yeah, I bet.
which is I think is pretty important to keep tabs on a critically endangered species
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the great sea
I've been to
turtle.
that beach, and I think every single time there's been turtles.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, what's crazy though is you can go in the water and they're swimming
Yeah,
around you, and the amount of harassment that they face in that water. And even though there's an organization there telling people,
yeah.
I almost feel like you can stick a no enforcement person there and they will arrest people daily just from that. I know they don't have that kind of resources, but I feel like that needs to happen because people just, even though there's boards up, there's
It
information out,
sounds
people just don't
sounds
listen.
sounds like you have a plan for retirement.
Lo,
Yeah,
look, I will stay in Canada when I'm retired. It kind of goes like in my lifetime, as much as, growing up wanting to be a marine biologist and wanting to, go down to California or, work in Hawaii or work in Australia. I've learned enough through, real world experience, talking to a lot of people that I should not live on Hawaii. I would love to go visit as many times as possible and enjoy, kind of like what you said too, enjoy the culture, but it's not my place to live in a place like Hawaii when there are so many people that could live there, should be living there, and have to leave because it's too expensive to live, or there's just not enough jobs. Like when we went to Oahu last time, we drove around the entire island. It was beautiful, it was great, but it was heartbreaking at the same time to see a lot of Hawaiians out of a place to live because everything's so expensive. It's ridiculous, and that makes me sad to be able to see that. So no, I will not take part in that to live there because I don't belong there. I belong here in Canada, and even then, it's probably you know you you know it's even contested because we're on stolen land. So, but I'm Canadian. I'll stay in Canada. So.
well, maybe we can find some turtles in Canada for you to protect.
The way climate change is coming, the way climate change is going,
You
they're
can
coming north.
find some turtles, and you can shake your fist to be like, "Leave those turtles alone."
We have gotten some leatherback sea turtles here in the past. So not in
Oh
Ontario,
yeah,
obviously,
'cause
but up in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. So you never know.
mhm.
And we got a lot of great whites last year along the East
But
Coast, which we don't go. And there was a great white that was spotted on the West Coast too. They're coming north. Climate change is real, folks. It keeps moving, keeps pushing a lot of these species north. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So maybe the tropics will be in Canada before I leave
cool,
this earth.
love it.
Yeah, I'm not sure
All right,
it's
buddy.
that
Well,
cool.
that's probably good for our episode. I gotta go
I
do
think so.
fitness today. I haven't done my fitness. It
Got to
got
do your
cold, man. It
fitness.
was um. So I heard a great way to think about Fahrenheit and Celsius. Celsius is percent frozen, and Fahrenheit is percent hot.
Oh, okay.
And so last couple days it was 95 degrees. So it was 95 degrees hot, which is hot. And it's now dropped to 60 degrees, which is like in the middle.
Yeah,
And I'm from a tropical Pacific island, and I don't like running outside in the cold. I want to wear shorts and I want to sweat. So I think I'm probably going to hit the gym today, right
that's a good
after this
idea.
call.
Because right
And keep
now
my,
for
I'm
us it
almost,
is 14 degrees Celsius, which is
okay,
probably about 60
that's,
degrees.
it's 14% frozen, which is pretty close to frozen.
No, that's not right.
No, no, boiling.
Nothing's
No, no, no.
frozen here.
Actually, no, no. No, no. Celsius is percent boiling. Sorry, I
Percent
messed up.
boiling. Gotcha.
And Celsius is percent
Yeah.
boiling, and then Fahrenheit is percent hot. So
Yeah.
you are 12 degrees boiling, which is
Yeah.
cold, which is
Sure.
not boiling. It's like it's close to. not boiling. But zero is for it's between whatever.
I
I'm
get you.
confusing
I
myself now.
get you. I'm gonna say for a Canadian 12 to 14 degrees, 12 to 15 degrees when it's sunny
Summer.
outside, I'm wearing
Yeah.
shorts. I'm wearing I'm wearing shorts. Except at night, it gets a little chilly at night. You get that cold wind. But we had 28 degrees here, which was like 95, and it was hot
Well,
over
that's
the
warm.
weekend.
Yeah.
That was really warm, almost too warm for Canada at this time of the year. But we'll take it. Everybody
Yeah.
wants the warmth. But yeah, good luck with your gym workout. I'm working out
Thanks,
tomorrow
buddy.
morning. I'm doing a workout
Sounds
called
good.
Murph, which is a CrossFit
Murph.
workout. It's a mile run, 100 pull-ups, which I'll do ring rows for that,
Oh, okay. Cool.
200 push-ups, 300
Okay.
squats, air squats, and then another
Yeah.
mile run. So I'll be scaling
Okay.
that
Yeah,
and see how it
I'll
goes.
give you. I mean, no one's listening this far, and I'll just keep talking to you for a few more minutes about fitness because whatever. Um, so when I started this in January, I was like 235,
Yeah, yeah,
and like I would lay in bed at night and my legs would ache.
yeah.
And like I was on doing the elliptical, but like on a very very low setting, like it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
very athletic. Didn't lose any weight, like it wasn't really, but like I was getting a little bit stronger. February and March, my body melted like butter. I went from like 235 to 210. Like I dropped 25 pounds in 2 months.
And no
And
changing in eating.
by no, not really, no, no changing anything. Um,
Awesome.
and then in April, I was at like 210, 211. And I have been for 2 months at 210, just like flat. And I'm just like, it was like plateau, boom.
Yeah.
But like I actually like my ability to run has gotten like way better. Like I'm actually like during those 2 months, like I'm way fitter at the end
Yeah.
of these 2 months than I was at the
Absolutely.
start. And
100%.
I think I look a little slightly different there. Like I've like
Your
big
waist,
pieces
it
of
must
my
be
back
off
as
your,
well. Yeah,
like you can tell it's off your
yeah,
face
it's on my
too.
face. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can
That's like
tell. You can tell. You're looking good, man. Hey, it's all
yeah,
about feeling good, staying healthy, and
yeah.
doing what you can. I've been working out consistently for about a month now, 3 days a
Uh-huh.
week, doing CrossFit. I haven't lost necessarily pounds like off the scale,
Uh-huh.
but I've noticed a change in like my upper body.
Yeah, okay.
It's where I'm gaining some muscle, that's why I'm probably not
Okay.
losing weight.
Yeah,
I've changed a little bit in my eating, but nothing crazy. More protein, I say.
yeah. For me, like I noticed like I lost a lot of weight on my legs first, and I got like a
Oh
like
yeah.
really good definition of my legs. And
Yeah.
then um it was like my back. Like weird, like you don't think about that,
Yeah.
but like a
Yeah.
lot of weight was on my back. And then in the last 2 months when I haven't lost any weight at all, like my face, my neck, my
Yeah.
arms,
Yeah.
um, and like I'll be honest, I still have a little bit of a beer gut, but hopefully, and then I'll
Hey,
keep this up. But it's almost five
we're
months.
older now. We're older now. It's hard to take off that
Okay.
that gut,
Yeah,
right?
no,
So
that gut, like I've invested in that gut.
it's a lot of time.
This is about the size I was when I got married.
Right.
Like so, and that was 15 years ago. So like
Yeah.
this is my 33-year-old size, and like
Yeah.
the leftovers from like that's been there for like 20 years. Some of these chubs,
Oh
so
yeah.
they don't want to go.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way for the last well, I'm at the heaviest I've ever been, but it'll come
Yeah,
down. I'm not. It's not a
we sh-
race. It's a marathon. It's not a
yeah
sprint. It's a
we should
marathon
we
for me.
should become we should become middle-aged fitness influencers.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah,
would be
if you can
awesome.
get down to like I'm not there yet either, but like if we can get down to like 200 each, and then we'll switch the focus, and we'll come up with like
Just
a new, like instead of polar bears, will be something that's like fit, like a
like a sea
gazelle
otter,
maybe. Sea otter.
gazelle.
Oh, sea
Sea
otter.
otters and
Yeah,
flip flops. Okay, so we're
yeah.
gonna transform from polar bears to sea otters. There we go.
Through cardio.
Through cardio and CrossFit. We'll see how
Yeah.
that happens. I don't know if I think I can get down to 200. I think it'll be a while before I get down to 200.
I saw 200. I've seen 200 twice in the last 20 years.
Yeah, yeah, me too. When I
But
turned 40, I was 200. When I
yeah,
went to
okay, yeah.
Malaysia, I was close to 200.
When I ran the marathon in 2014, which and I was 38, like I got down to 200,
Yeah,
and then I
yeah,
stopped. Um, and then and before I got married, like in 2009, I did a fitness, and I went from like I've blogged about all this. Like I can actually just go on the
yeah.
internet and like look up my fitness history.
That's
But like
awesome.
in 2009, I did a weight loss contest, and I started at 212, which is like the size I am now. So like me feeling great is me feeling fat and chunky when I was 29, you know? Like so like I now like this is like the best I could look at 47, and it was the worst I could be at 29.
Different age, different goals,
Yeah,
right? As
yeah.
long as you're healthy, that's all that matters, and you
Uh,
getting healthy. We're both getting
I have
healthier, and
a
that's the
I
big
have a
thing.
higher credit score now too, so
Oh, well,
all
there
things
you
are better.
go. That's what really counts. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's it for
All right,
today.
buddy. Catch you later.
Great day. We will talk to you all next week. And you're going to be here next week. I'm going to be here next week. Next
No, I'm going
Thursday.
to be in Boston.
Boston.
I'm going to be, and I can't because
Okay.
I'm going on a whale watch that day, but I'm also going to be at a
Ooh.
graduation party.
Okay.
Um,
Well, enjoy. Who's graduating?
my friend.
Nice. Right on.
Nobody you
All
know.
right. Nobody I know.
All right. See
Okay.
you, buddy.
That's fine. Well, congratulations to said friend. And we will
All
talk
right.
to you next time. All right, guys. Bye.
Sounds good, man.